Hey everybody, it is Nathan Selove with another edition of Autism Actually Speaking. A while back, I created a video about lighting it up blue for Autism Speaks during the month of April, and some of the information in that video is no longer relevant, or up to date. So I thought I'd make another video about some of the recent developments in that organization and the implications of them. If you're interested in watching the old video, then I'll leave a link in the end cards. For those of you that don't know, lighting it up blue is something that a lot of people do in order to demonstrate their support for the organization known as Autism Speaks during the month of April. And a lot of the people that are doing this often conflate supporting that organization with supporting Autistics. And the intention behind donating to an organization that sounds like an autism support or advocacy organization is a good intention to have. And as an autistic, I appreciate that sentiment. However, Autism Speaks has a rather sinister reputation among the neurodiversity movement and a lot of us in the autism community. For more reference, see the title of this video. They have a reputation of silencing our voices in our own movement. A lot of this is due to their history of not having any autistics on their board of directors, and also their history of supporting the concept of curism. Now, they have made some changes, so let's look at them. In 2015, they actually hired on 2 autistics to be on their board of directors. Their board has about 25 people. Also in 2015, they updated their mission statement. It no longer includes a cure for autism as one of their goals. Now, these 2 small steps are in the right direction, and they do seemingly demonstrate that Autism Speaks has listened to the criticisms lobbed at their organization and attempted to adjust themselves due to it. However, 2 out of 25 is 8% representation. For an organization that calls themselves Autism Speaks, that is remarkably insulting. If the intention behind this step was to demonstrate that they are moving away from their history of excluding the voices of autistics in their own movement, they have faltered and fallen short. Steve Silberman, neurotypical ally and author of the book Neurotribes, wrote an op-ed in the Los Angeles Times, in which he compared the lack of representation in Autism Speaks to an NAACP that was primarily run by white people. And I agree with this assessment, because you can't have an organization that advocates for the advancement of a marginalized identity and not have a significant portion of representation of that marginalized identity in the leadership. Now, to be clear, I am not saying that neurotypical voices have no place in our movement. I'm not even saying that neurotypicals should not be allowed to serve on the board of directors. However, it needs to be majority autistics, because we deserve to be the driving force in our own movement. And as for moving away from the destructive implications that come from the ideology of curism, look, I'm glad that they took curism out of their mission statement, but you don't get a slow clap for taking something out of there that shouldn't have been there in the first place. You don't get automatically forgiven because you stopped putting gasoline on a fire that you started. I do not believe that Autism Speaks has taken satisfactory steps in moving away from the damage they have caused in the past. Obviously, I think there needs to be a significant amount of representation within the leadership of this organization. I also think they need to take a much more direct stance against the ideology of curism, mostly because of their role in promoting the idea for years. I am an autistic that grew up in a time where the most recognizable organization that supposedly advocated for autistics actively promoted an ideology that basically said that the world would be better if me and people like me did not exist. That doesn't go away. And I'm not going to accept lip service as a peace offering. Now, I'm not saying that this organization is completely past redemption, but there are significant steps that they still need to take before I'm even willing to consider them a true advocate for autism. In the meantime, there are organizations that you can support that do actually advocate for our voices. 2 of my favorites are the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network and the Autism Women's Network. I'll leave links to these organizations down below. So this April, before you light it up blue, think about the organization that represents, and ask yourself if that's the ideology that you really want to promote. Well, that's today's video. Thank you all for watching. I am still accepting you might be autistic ifs in the comments section down below. I've already received a lot of really good ones, so keep them coming. In the meantime, if you liked this video, give it a like, a share. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like addressed, please leave them in the comments below. Or message me on my Facebook, also linked below. And remember, if you're not on the Autism Speaks board of directors, you might be autistic.